support all the great military heroes that we have that'll be honored. This is our first meeting with UConn. Never played them. I've never played them in anything, honestly, but excited about the game. They're obviously a team in transition with coaching change and with Coach Spanos, and they're a very young team. I mean, they're probably one of the youngest teams in college football across the board. They got to be in the top 4, 5, or 6 youngest teams out there. A lot of young talent. They've got some athletic guys. Got some South Carolina kids that I know will be super excited to play against us as well. And they're playing a lot better down the stretch. They 2-point game against Wyoming, 2-point game against Vandy. They are competing. Middle Tennessee, they were right there in that game late in the third quarter. So you can see the team and buying into what Coach Spanos is trying to get them to do from energy and effort, sound in what they do schematically. They present some challenges. Offensive line, I think their 2 tackles are excellent players, really good players, and they got some skill. They're just young. They got freshman receivers. They've had some injuries at quarterback. Number 8's come in and done a nice job for them. But, look forward to competing against these guys. And the biggest thing I'd say with them is the unknown. They haven't played a game since October the 22nd, which is incredibly unusual for November football. It's basically like an opener. You got 3 weeks off. There's a lot you can do in 3 weeks from a football standpoint. That's a spring practice basically. So there's a lot of unknown. That's makes you a little uneasy because again that's just a lot of time for one team to prepare for one opponent. And in the meantime, we've got 4 days to get ready. So that's a little bit of a challenge. But again, we're excited about it and really hope our crowd will come out and. Let's have two great weeks in the Valley supporting this team that has battled their tails off all year long. They have competed and continue to respond week in and week out and getting better. But injury-wise, the only guy that's definitely out is Ngata. We'll have a couple other days that are probably guys that'll be probably day-to-day, but he's the only one that's out. And then Paul Teo has left the team. He's entered into the portal. So appreciate his contributions and wish him well with what he does next. And with that, we'll take your questions.
Dabo, on the topic that Bubble Betty and took up last night on your radio show. You mentioned the perimeter.
I think it's Becky. I think it's Becky. I think.
Oh, Becky.
I think
Sorry,
it's Becky. Yeah.
Becky.
Becky.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
On the topic of the guys playing better on the perimeter, mainly blocking,
Yeah.
what have been the ingredients into sort of shoring that up from what it was earlier?
Yeah. You got to execute. Doesn't matter what you call. Nothing's good when you don't execute properly. This game's blocking, tackling, throwing, catching. It's all comes down to precision in what you do. And being good at it. But we've made improvement. We really have. I mean, we've gotten, I guess that was our 6th offensive line combination in 9 games. But we are getting some continuity. We've been much more consistent, and as a result, we've gotten the run game going and, not having a bunch of unblocked guys and things like that. And then in particular, the receivers, I think, have been better on the perimeter, which has been good. We've had some explosive runs. Just playing. We're not the Chiefs yet, but we're playing a lot better. And again, growing a bunch of guys up, a bunch of young players that are getting a lot of experience. Starting with your quarterback, who's still a young player and he's getting better. He's making some improvement. He's still not where we need him to be, but he is definitely improving and getting better. I like what he's doing. Obviously, our 3 young backs are going to be special players, and they've all had their moments. And Missed some opportunities there too. Our tight ends are really exciting. You know what the year Davis Allen has had, and now you look at Sage coming on and Brenny. Man, just got a bright future there. Same thing at receiver. It was good to get Dakari in there. You know, he's been a guy that's kind of been, you know, transitioning and really learning. And man, I thought he competed, played his tail off, playing fast. Bo, you know, has really been there all year. He's learned a lot. He can easily play a couple spots for us. And you know, getting EJ back. EJ was out all last week. He didn't practice till Thursday with a family situation. But you know, and then he had knee surgery before that. So you know, getting him back, and then Ross has had really 2 or 3 really good games in a row now. You know, so I'm pleased with what we're doing. You know, again, injuries has been tough. You know, really battling just kind of musical chairs there, but through that we're getting better, and you know, so hopefully we can continue to stay the course and have a great strong finish. I mean, you know, back-to-back weeks we've had to go win the game. You know, you either go score or you get beat, and our guys have been able to do that. We've had, you know, a great 2-minute drive last week with a minute 30 minus 14. You know, we opened up well. You know, so the guys are just playing with more confidence, and again, a lot of that's just continuity and you know, coaches have done a good job of really just, you know, hanging in there with them and working through it. But got a lot of guys back on this team, and they'll be much improved, you know, because of the experience they've gotten this year. Marcus Tate getting better. Walker Parks, true sophomore, first-year starter. You know, Putnam's been out now a couple weeks, and you know, the experience that we've been able to get with Rayburn and Trotter, and you know, so it's I think heading in the right direction for sure from a precision execution standpoint.
I guess in terms of Paul, the offensive line's obviously already thin. I mean, who do you look to be reserve behind North?
We got what we can't ship anybody in here right now. So we got again, obviously we got the guys that are hurt and out. So you know, we've got our starters that have been starting. Obviously Putnam is eventually we'll get him back, but you know, Trent and Mitchell and Tucker are the 3 guys that have been kind of you know, repping all year. And then you know, we'll move Tristan and Ryan. You know, now they're not in a danger of losing their red shirt. You know, so we'll get them. We brought them up from the scouts yesterday, and they've been in power hour. You know, grinding down there in the weight room, all falling on the scout team. So we'll move those guys up, but you know, we just keep rolling what we got. We've developed a lot of versatility in that offensive line, that's for sure. We got a lot of guys that can play multiple positions, and you know, really excited about the group. And you know, with Paul leaving, we still got our number in the OL is 15, and we're going to sign a couple, and we'll be at 15 unless something changes. So you know, we just got to get guys back from injury is the biggest thing. But numbers wise, you know, we're fine.
Will DJ be limited at all in what he does this week in practice, or expect him to be full?
We limited him. We held him yesterday just to give him another day to kind of. I mean, he kind of stood back and repped, you know, on his own every play, just kind of mentally and footwork and all that stuff. But we just kind of kept him out. But he'll start working back in there today and get him going.
What's Putnam's status?
He'll be, you know, most likely out this week. He's kind of day to day, but you know, he'll probably be a guy you know, we may hold another week. He's been battling for all year. I still can't believe he played the second half of the Florida State game. I mean, just unbelievable how he gutted it out. Unbelievable. And so, I mean, his foot was as black as this microphone right here. Incredible. He played the whole second half. Just as tough a kid as we got on this team. And so he's a lot better, and we'll see where he is. You know, Thursday I'll probably have a little better answer because he is a lot better and improving. But if we can hold him, we may try to do that regardless of what his status is.
With that being said, how do you feel like Trotter kind of graded out, just filling in for
Trotter's doing well. Trotter is holding his own, man. You know, he's crafty. He's a very technically, fundamentally sound, you know, kid. He's tough. He's strong. He understands leverage. He's got excellent feet. You know, he's not a 300-pounder, but he really plays bigger than he is. I mean, he's a good player, and I'm really happy. And again, we expected him to be one of those guys that helped us, you know, a good bit early, but he broke his hand, and you know, literally the week he got the club off, he's got to go start at center against Syracuse. And did a good job for us, except one play. But he's done a nice job, and so has Rayburn. Rayburn is a redshirt sophomore. Both those guys are redshirt sophomores, and they've kind of been through the battles, and they just, you know, light has come on for them. So really proud of what he's done.
With Andrew and Kobe, is there a potential they'll be cleared and they can just practice during this week, or are they still going to be in protocol? Might hold them out.
They're you know, they're in the protocol, you know, since Saturday and doing better, and you know, we'll see where they are today when we get out there, but anticipate they'll be good to go.
Yeah, but what have you seen from Dakari in practice just to feel like he deserves more opportunities?
Well, he's been competing his tail off. He struggled early just with consistency in you know, just the playbook and execution, the details, you know, the details of what we got to do, and he's just really, you know, it's just slowed down a little for him, and he's put the work in. He's a big-bodied kid, but he plays fast and he competes, and you know, he's just gotten opportunity. Obviously, we've had a bunch of injuries, so he's gotten a lot more reps. You know, with the group. You know, Frank out for the year. You know, guys up and down. You know, week to week. From an injury standpoint, that position's kind of been no different than the rest of them. You know, the Pitt game, we had 5 wideouts, scholarship wideouts out of the game. So I mean, he's just had a lot of opportunity, a lot more opportunity to get those critical practice reps, and got a little experience in the game, and his confidence has grown through his preparation.
It seems like safety a lot of times takes a year or two with guys to get ready, but end of the game, you got Makuba, Mickens out there making plays. What's particularly special about those guys to make them not just players that can stay on the field, but make impact plays down the stretch in a tough game?
Yeah, well, that's why we recruited them, you know, and you're right. That's a tough position, especially in our defense. It does usually take a year or so. You know, last year we were fortunate that the year didn't count. You know, so Mickens is just a redshirt freshman, but he got some good experience last year and was able to really learn. But he's a very smart player. I mean, he knows the game. He's not your typical freshman walking in here from a football foundation standpoint. His dad was a longtime pro, you know, great defensive back for a long time, and so he just, you know, came in here physically, needed to develop a little bit, needed to kind of change his body some, needed to get stronger. He's worked hard at all that, but instincts and understanding of the game, very natural to Mickens. And then you got a guy like Jalen Phillips. You know, he's a redshirt sophomore, and you know, redshirt, got a little experience last year. Now he's in that redshirt sophomore year, and you start to see the light really coming on for him. That's kind of a typical progression, but you know, really proud of what those guys have been able to do. And then Makuba, he's just a rare freshman. Got a little overwhelmed, you know, in a little stretch there when you start. He was awesome, you know, when you're in camp and you're really just kind of seeing one team and it's base stuff, and then you get into, you know, heavy install, week to week, game plan application, those type of things. He hit a little bit of a wall. But man, he's really, when you've got multiple personnel groupings and things like that, from a game plan standpoint, he I think hit a little wall. But man, he's settled in. He's learned everything. He knows it. But he's not your typical freshman. And then he covers up mistakes. You know, he's one of those rare guys that's fast enough to cover things up. You know, we've had guys like that in the past that maybe weren't always right where they needed to be, but they could recover from it. And then you got other guys that, you know, they're good players because they're disciplined, they see it, they're great anticipators, they have great recognition, great awareness, et cetera. But Makuba's, he's going to be a good one. That whole group, I'm really pleased with our safeties. I mean, Nolan's done a great job. He's played banged up too. I mean, he's been a great leader for us. And but our safety group has been a real plus for us. Mickey's done a great job with that group.
Who in practice, like who's your backup offensive line right now? Are you like your number 2?
Yeah, so we rotate. We work Tate at left tackle. We've been kind of cross training him, but yesterday it was Tristan Lee and Tucker and Linthicum and Trent Howard and Mitchell Mace. So what we got? We had to move some guys up.
I know you said nothing surprises you anymore. Did that catch you off guard at all, just with the guys?
Nothing catches me off guard in 2021. Nothing surprises me. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely zero. It's just the world we're in.
Was it playing time or?
I guess, I mean, that's kind of, just wants a different opportunity. And I mean, that's what we have in college football. A different opportunity. You got to go in the portal. You can go somewhere in January. And, so just, it is what it is. You keep moving.
Yeah, but Davis Allen has had some pretty impressive red zone touchdowns over the last couple of weeks. Is he a guy you can continue to lean on down there? How hard does he work to make himself into that?
He's worked his tail off. He was a defensive player. We wasn't a big tight end recruit. We actually brought him to camp and worked him out at tight end. Really felt like he could really be, but he was kind of made his name on defense, mostly in high school. But man, he's just a gifted player. He's a natural, and he's worked really, really hard on his route running. He's done a great job, with his nuances of route running and break points and influence. And but he's just a big, long body. He's got great body control. He can high point the ball, good collision balance, all those things that you like in those big bodied tight ends. But he's just a grinder. He's an unbelievably committed guy to the team, to the program, you name it, and has become one of the most respected players on this team. He's an excellent leader, and really, really excited. But he's definitely a guy that he's been big for us this year, and his best is still in front of him for sure. He's a great influence on those other guys too. He really is.
Has this been one of the more challenging years just in terms of trying to build some sort of depth with all the attrition?
Oh yeah. I've never had a year like this. I mean, we got, I guess, 16 guys out for the year with the guys that have left the team. 12 injuries, season-ending injuries. So I can't. And I'm talking about like great players. Tons of guys that would have helped us. It's just been very unique. Never really dealt with anything like that. But it's been a challenge that I think makes us better. There's opportunity in everything, and it's given us an opportunity to grow our team and figure some things out.
I guess when you look at Bo, he's obviously in the slot right now. Do you see his future on the outside, or do you think it really is up in the air that he could be either an outside or a
I
slot?
think Bo can play anywhere. He's very smart. He understands the big picture. He's worked our 2 and 5. He's played 2 and 5 since he got here, but I think he's a guy that'll be able to play all 3 by the time he leaves here. He's big enough and strong enough to play in the boundary. Yeah, he's fast enough to play to the field, and he's crafty enough to play inside. He's a great route runner, very natural. I mean, he's one of the most ready kids we've had here. Just like, and when I say ready, I'm talking about just really technically and fundamentally advanced. Guys that we've had come in here. Sammy Watkins was that way. I mean, just from a technical fundamental standpoint, just really advanced. Jay Ross was that way, and Bo's that way. And we've had a lot of other great players, but had to really develop. For whatever aspect. It was technically, fundamentally, route running, release technique, whatever. But Bo was way far ahead. You know, very similar to those guys, just from a foundation of receiver play coming in here. He's a good one, man. He's a good one. Very, very talented.
Anybody else in the room for Coach? Anybody on Zoom have any questions?